In my previous video, or one of my previous, I don't know, I have a couple video ideas and I don't know when I will be posting this one versus those. So let's just say it's the previous one, but my previous job video, I had said that, what was it, one interview in 80 applications? Well, I haven't done any more applications, but I have about three more interviews. So I have four interviews total. Or I've had interviews with three companies. I've had multiple interviews at this point for each company. So I want to talk a little bit about it and I don't know, give tips. I don't even know really. I just want to talk about it and maybe get some advice, give some tips to people. Kind of just it's really just to give people an idea of how this all goes. Okay, so I think I'm trying to remember where the okay, yes. So what happened was I had an interview. Okay. Okay, yeah, I remember. Sorry. So much has happened at this point. The first interview I had was a virtual interview for a company in Washington. It was a manufacturing company and they were looking to add some robotics into their manufacturing process. So I did my interview online. It went really well actually, and they invited me to do an in-person interview. So they paid for my flight, they paid for my hotel, they gave me a rental car, all that stuff, and they gave me a check for food and gas and all that. It was pretty nice. Before that, though, literally right before I went for that interview, I got two more interviews. So I got one for a company in New York. It's a robotics company where they work with robotic manipulators. And another company that was for Georgia, that was in Georgia, I believe. Yeah, it was in Georgia, and it would be doing research over there. So both went well. I had the company in New York went really well, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. But we had like a really informal. It was actually really great. It was a very informal interview. He kind of told me about the company. He asked me for my experience. He kind of mentioned that it doesn't really seem like, based on what I mentioned that I want to do, doesn't really feel like it connects well. So he gave me an offer and said I can sit on it until these other ones are completed. So that was really cool. I guess just to give a little info so that you understand what maybe to expect. So this was an informal interview, and all he did was he gave info about his company. Then he asked me to talk about my background. He like my background in mechanical engineering and my robotics. He kind of asked me how I got into robotics. He asked me about some of the things I'm very comfortable with. He asked me about what my ideal job would be. If I could go into it, what would it be? And that was about it. And then he asked me like pay and how long it would take to move over there. Like, what could I start right away? He asked me if like I had a partner that would kind of complicate things. Like, yeah. So that one went well, but that one I kind of got an offer, kind of didn't. It was more of a come back if you want an offer kind of thing. The second one was in Georgia. That one was a weird interview because it was just on the phone, but I had my camera on and no one else had their camera on. So that was a little interesting. And I didn't think I did well, but the entire interview was basically, they went through everything in my resume and asked me to give some more detail. Asked me about some things I learned, asked me about what specifically I did on the project. Yeah, and that was about it for that interview. And so they said if things go well, you'll be invited to go to the company and check them out. So they'll pay for the flight. Basically what they're doing for Washington, what the other company is doing for Washington, which is a full trip paid to go check them out. And so I was told it would take about 5 days to get back to me. And it took 2 days. And they said, we want to see you. I didn't think I performed super well, to be honest with you, but I guess I talked well enough. And then So that's all that's happened for those two. And then we finally get to the Washington interview where I go. It was a great time, to be honest. I got to meet the company. It went really well. I got interviewed by like 4 or 5 people. The first one was an HR department person. They kind of just went through the exact same the HR one, went through the exact same process of what I basically did in the virtual interview. And then the other 3 interviews, which was, there was supposed to be a 4th afterwards, but it kind of fell through because the guy couldn't make it. So it was 3 after that. And those were from different those were from different members of the automation team that came and interviewed me. And it went well. So that they all basically asked me the same kind of questions, which was things on my resume, things I learned, things I would change. They talked about themselves a little bit, their background, what they enjoy. They gave me some tips for places to visit in Washington. They gave me a little bit about the culture of the company, what they do, how they hang out, what's the environment like in Washington, like how's the weather in the winter, how's the weather in the summer. Kind of gave me some things to look into and be wary of. They told me about the city, where I might live, where they recommend living, and just give me some tips like that. So that was really awesome. That was really great. It went really well. And we're waiting for a response. So basically they said they take about 3 weeks to respond, and I had told them about my offer, and so they kind of shortened it down to about half the time. So we're waiting for a response. And then I'm also still waiting for everything to be set up to go to Georgia. And if things go the way that they say it's going to take, it looks like by the time Georgia sets up their stuff, I will have an offer or not. But I have a response from Washington already. So it might be a little weird where they set up a plane and all that. And for Georgia, I'm like, oh, by the way, I took a job. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll definitely see how it goes. But I guess that was a little summary about what they asked. And I guess I kind of wanted to follow up with the previous video about some things that perhaps I would like to say differently. Number one, before I continue, I saw there was this one person that commented on the video. Let me see if I can actually find it really quickly. And then I will definitely put it in, I'll edit the comment or the person. I don't know how we're going to do it, but it would be on the screen. And so, Shivadelphia, I believe is his name. I do really appreciate the responses on the video and the words of encouragement and the little tips that you had for contracting, all that. I would definitely have looked more into the contracting if I didn't already have things going on. Like I'm in this weird period where it's now just waiting to see if I get an offer. So if I don't get any offers, then I definitely would be looking to the contracting. But the second thing that I wanted to cover, and again, I'll put Shivadelphia on the screen for you. But again, thank you. But the second thing I wanted to say was that about how important the resume was. I believe in the previous video, I talked about how the resume wasn't very important. It was literally just to get you in the door, and that was it, which I don't necessarily take back. I will say that at least for these rounds of interviews, it actually was a lot more important, right? For the first interview, it was, they looked at my resume and then they didn't give a shit anymore. And it was just about the company and how I would solve their problems. These other companies, these other interviews that I had, the 3 that I had, were solely based on my resume, my experience, the projects, how much I did, what I learned, what I do differently, which I think was actually wonderful because I was also listening while I was practicing. I practiced a lot for these interviews, and each one kind of helped me improve on the next. So I would definitely recommend just doing interviews for fun, just so that you could get better for ones that actually matter. But these interviews, I think, were done really well in the sense that they didn't care. They cared about the job. They cared about what you were going to do in the job. They mentioned what you're going to do in the job, but they specifically cared about the experience that you had already that was relevant to the job and how much you worked on it. Like, what did you do on it? What did you learn? What can you improve upon? It was those types of things. It was all about what you already knew. And it wasn't about, how to design a drone from scratch. And you've never designed a drone from scratch before. So I would say I take it back. Resumes are definitely really important to put your information on there. And I will say that the interviews that I got were from the new resume where I had cleaned everything up, adjusted the keywords, made them more of qualifications, and it seemed to work out. It seemed that I got a lot more bites on my resume. So that's good. I'd say I would recommend fixing up a resume. I guess if this, if anyone sees it and wants me to kind of talk about how to fix the resume, perhaps, maybe you can send me your resume and I could give you a couple tips, maybe just on an email, or maybe I'll make a video on it. I'm not sure. It depends. What I feel like doing, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, if you guys want some tips on that, like, let me know. I could definitely help you, or try to the best of my knowledge. I'm not a pro or anything. I swear, if you hear the birds in the background, it's gonna be so annoying. I'm so sorry. There's nothing I could do if the birds are yelling. It's literally, that's it. They're gonna keep yelling until they don't. So please forgive me, please. the, I guess the other thing I wanted to talk about was less about. I guess it's about moving. So all these interviews would require me to move, and depending on which one I get would depend on how much stuff I'm able to bring. Moving across the country is not exactly something. It was something that I was very excited for until I did it. And there's my PC here, there's my 3D printer, there's my car, there's so much stuff here that I would not be able to bring if I were to move across the country. Or it would cost a lot of money. And I don't know how I'm going to do it. But I guess the thing that I realized was that I'm going to probably have to move somewhere, obviously, because I need some experience on jobs. Like, I just need it. They really, there's no way I'm going to, for mid-level jobs, for example, like if I want to keep up with my pay, I need to get more and more experience. So I need to get a job somewhere that's going to give me a shot. This is kind of what Shadelphia, I believe, said, which was, just find the best offer that you can get and take it, because you take it, you get your experience, and then hopefully you move on to something that's a little bit better, which is fair. And that's basically what I'm gonna have to do. But I guess the thing that I realized was that moving's gonna be a pain in the ass, and I'm willing to do it for a short amount of time. So for example, 2 years. I'm willing to go to a job for 2 years, maybe 3. Depends how good the job is, obviously. Like if I'm not really enjoying it too much, a year or 2, right? Get the experience, leave. If I am really enjoying it and they're kind of treating me well and all that stuff, maybe I'll stay longer. I don't really know. You never know how much you're gonna actually enjoy a place until you stay for a long period of time, or for like months is kind of what I mean. But I guess the thing that I realize, other than moving is gonna be an utter pain in the ass, and we're gonna have to leave a lot of things behind, is how important it is that I don't work anymore when I get the shot to. Like, I don't know exactly how to word it, but I don't want to work for someone else. I really, in these past 5 days of waking up and just going and doing whatever the hell I want, because I had to take off from my part-time job to go to travel to a different place, go explore things and have some fun. That was so much better than just waking up for a 9 to 5, obviously. And I want to do it more. Like, maybe not the traveling, maybe the traveling. What I kind of mean is that I just want to be able to wake up whenever I want and do whatever I want. Work on whatever I want. Go outside. Go do some sports. Go do anything. Come inside. Go work on some projects. Go work on my robot. Literally anything except work for someone else. So what I kind of learned is that I'm in a position where I have to get a job so that I can pay off my debt, and so that I can have the stability to eventually not have a job, because I'll be working on other things, other projects, other stuff that will hopefully cover the income that I will not have when I quit my job. So it's this weird scenario where I'm working to not work. And I learned pretty, I don't know, I kind of got like shocked by how much I don't want to work. It's not that like I think I'll enjoy it for a little bit, for a couple of years, but after a little bit of time, I I really would just like to do my own thing. And I think I can. Like I think if I really worked smart and hard, played my cards right, which is not really probably going to happen, but if I tried and tried to do the best as I could, I think there's definitely a world where I can be my own boss, kind of a thing. I'm just not that person that wants to do a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. And honestly, probably not many people are. But also not many people are trying to not do it either. So I want to do it. I have this like great desire to do it. And this kind of gave me a vision of what this channel is going to be. I don't fully know what it's going to be yet, but I think perhaps it's just going to be me documenting myself trying to get out of the 9 to 5 and documenting my 9 to 5. Obviously, I won't for a lot of these jobs, I'll need security clearances, so obviously I can't record my job. But I'm sure I can talk about me exploring Washington or me exploring Georgia. I can talk about some of the tips and things I learned of the industry and all that stuff. And I can probably, I could do something like that and make that into this channel. I can do projects when I get home or something, or game. Like I really don't know. I honestly don't know, but I know that I want to do something so that I can get out of this situation. So I will definitely, that's kind of what I'll be doing. That's the last thing I'll say is that it's pretty much, it's time to grind. It's time to, I don't know, free myself, I guess, from this kind of scenario. And I just got in it. But yeah, I don't know. That's the video. Like, subscribe. I don't really know what my whole spiel is going to be, but send some love. I really appreciate the comments. I don't get that many, but when I do get one, I get really excited. So, give me your tips, give me some advice, give me what you liked, give me what you didn't like. Don't really matter. Engage. I don't really care. I want to meet you. I want to talk to everybody. So if you have something to say it. Yeah. Anyways, see you.